They killed Big Bertha. That 8-pound bass swam to my dock every morning for 3 years. I named her, fed her, watched her grow into a legend. Now she floated belly up with 200 other fish because my HOA president thought she owned my lake. The chemical stench hit me at sunrise, sharp copper sulfate mixed with rotting scales. Vanessa Blake had dumped $3,500 of industrial algicide into my crystal-clear water overnight, turning it the color of antifreeze. I stood there holding Bertha's slimy, lifeless body, shaking with rage. Then I realized something beautiful. Vanessa's fancy subdivision got its drinking water from the same spring feeding my lake. Every drop, every house, 847 homes. She didn't just poison my fish, she poisoned her entire neighborhood, and she had no clue what was coming. My name's Marcus Reed, a 52-year-old retired electrician turned solar panel installer in Pine Ridge, North Carolina. My 12-acre property with its spring-fed lake has been in my family since 1952, back when this area was tobacco fields and common sense. Every morning I walk the gravel path my grandfather laid, boots crunching on stones worn smooth by decades of fishermen. The dock's planks feel warm under my hands, sticky with dew. Honeysuckle mixes with the clean mineral scent of spring water. Blue herons nest in cypress trees, bass jump at dawn, and for 70 years this place was peace. Then the developers arrived. 15 years ago, they built Willow Creek Estates, 847 McMansions starting at $600,000. They offered me millions for my lake to make it their country club. I told them to build their clubhouse in hell. Most neighbors were fine, normal folks who waved as they jogged by. But then Vanessa Blake moved in. Picture a 47-year-old in a white Lexus, carrying a leather portfolio to barbecues, throwing around phrases like property value optimization. She became HOA president in 6 months and launched enhancement campaigns to make everyone miserable until they bowed to her suburban dictatorship. Her first shot was a certified letter claiming my fishing was disturbing her peaceful enjoyment. She paid $800,000 for her lakefront view, and my fishing was ruining her investment. She demanded I tear down my dock built before she was born. My lawyer buddy Tom Martinez laughed. "Marcus, your property predates the HOA. Their rules don't apply." Knowledge nugget. If your property existed before an HOA, their covenants can't retroactively bind you. Your deed date is your shield. When legal threats failed, Vanessa filed a false county complaint about my illegal dock. The inspector checked my 1987 permits and left, rolling his eyes. Then she escalated. Every morning at 6 a.m. when bass were feeding, her landscaping crew unleashed leaf blowers and chainsaws along her property line. Diesel fumes turned my peaceful lake into a construction zone, but I kept fishing. Some principles are worth defending. 2 weeks after the county laughed off her complaint, Vanessa hired an expensive surveyor to verify property boundaries. My grandfather's concrete posts, older than her, weren't enough. They spent 6 hours measuring lines set since 1952. Then her lawyer sent a letter claiming my dock extended 6 inches onto community water. She filed a county lawsuit over those 6 inches, professional letterhead, court stamps, the works. Her Facebook campaign was next, painting me as the neighbor ruining community standards. The Willow Creek Estates group became a digital lynch mob, but I hit the courthouse basement, digging through dusty deed records. Jackpot. My grandfather owned exclusive water rights to the lake and the underground aquifer feeding Vanessa's subdivision. Every faucet in 847 homes used my water. Knowledge nugget. Water rights are separate from land and can be worth more than the property itself. I called Tom. "You don't just have a defense," he said. "You've got a nuclear weapon." We countersued for harassment, slander, and abusive legal process. Vanessa was hosting a fancy HOA dinner when the sheriff served her papers. 40 guests froze as she shrieked, "That redneck is harassing me." Her mask slipped, revealing the tyrant beneath. Vanessa's next move was environmental terrorism. While I was visiting family, she paid Clearwater Solutions $3,500 to dump industrial algicide into my lake, lying that it was community property with an algae bloom. I came home to a metallic stench and a lake turned antifreeze green. Big Bertha and 200 fish floated dead. My hands shook as I called the county environmental hotline. Officer Jim Patterson arrived with a hazmat team. Industrial copper sulfate poisoning, he said. Felony destruction, possibly federal environmental terrorism. Knowledge nugget. Illegal chemical dumping carries 5-10-year prison sentences. Security footage from a neighbor's doorbell camera showed Clearwater's truck at 2:17 a.m. dumping chemicals. Grief sharpened my focus. As I cleaned up dead fish with my wife, Sandra, I remembered I'd installed solar panels for Willow Creek homes. Their wells tapped the same aquifer as my lake. Lab tests confirmed it. Copper sulfate levels 4 times above EPA safe limits. Vanessa hadn't just killed my fish, she'd poisoned her neighbor's water. I assembled a team: Rebecca Torres, an environmental lawyer, Dr. James Mitchell, a hydrogeologist, and Sarah Morgan, an investigative journalist. Rebecca planned a multi-front attack: federal water rights theft, EPA intervention, state criminal charges, and civil suits. Dr. Mitchell mapped the aquifer, confirming contamination would hit every home in 6-8 weeks. Sarah's exposé pitch: HOA tyrant poisons neighborhood water, had CNN and MSNBC salivating. County records revealed Willow Creek was built on protected wetlands, with permits requiring water feature preservation. Vanessa's landscaping crew, owned partly by her husband, Richard, was dumping debris into my lake, federal violations. I caught them on camera, time-stamped and GPS tagged. The EPA launched an investigation, and Richard lost 3 county contracts. Vanessa's cover-up was unraveling. Neighbors complained of metallic-tasting water and sick kids. She blamed natural minerals on Facebook, then tried bribing Clearwater to destroy records. The owner recorded her $10,000 offer: felony obstruction of justice. She hired a PI to dig dirt on me, who got arrested trying to break into my truck. She filed false complaints against my solar business, costing me $3,000 to resolve. The community center meeting was packed: 300 people, TV cameras, EPA reps. Vanessa sat on stage, eyes darting. The EPA's Dr. Murphy showed test results: copper sulfate 4 times safe levels traced to my lake. The crowd erupted. I took the mic, holding my 1952 deed. I own the water rights to your aquifer. Every drop you've used for 15 years is mine. Gasps. I'm waiving $30 million in back payments, but Vanessa poisoned my lake and your water. Rebecca outlined the charges: federal environmental crimes, state embezzlement, civil damages. The sheriff cuffed Vanessa as she screamed. He framed me. Her downfall was broadcast live. 6 months later, my lake was clear again, thanks to Dr. Mitchell's 18-month bioremediation plan. Settlement funds, $250,000 from Vanessa's assets and HOA insurance, created the Grandfather's Lake Environmental Trust, funding education programs. Vanessa got 3 years in prison, 5 years probation, $75,000 in restitution, and lost her law license. Willow Creek's HOA reformed, with transparency rules and resident protections. I opened my lake for community fishing. Kids learned to cast where my grandfather taught me. The annual spring festival celebrated our restored ecosystem, drawing 500 people. Our case set legal precedents, inspired HOA reform laws, and grew my solar business into environmental restoration. Never let tyrants bully you off your principles. Document everything. Know your rights. Sometimes the best revenge is building something better from their mistakes. Vanessa tried to destroy me but ended up in a cell, while my lake thrives, and our community is stronger. Share your HOA horror stories below. Real experiences spark real change.